exist.
I'm pretty sure he meant biscuits.
What's happening? Morning, afternoon, good evening, whichever time frame you're in when you hear this podcast. We back again. Biscuits and Gravy, episode 5, with my boy, Chase Davis.
Hi.
And you know who this is. If you don't, you haven't been listening. Yo bad.
Right. Man, we're blessed to be back. We're bringing another topic today that's been very popular. You know what I mean? We've seen it in a lot of places, seen it kind of everywhere. Lil Duval is kind of blown up.
I'm living my best life.
Right. So when we say we're living our best life, like what does that even mean? Right? So that's our topic, living my best life. What does that mean? We know what we've seen. We know what we see on social media, what you see on TV, what people talk about. But what does it mean for the people who don't have that spotlight, for people who can't show, you know what I'm saying, and portray whatever they're involved in, stuff like that? Like what does it mean to live your best life, and what can you do to better your life? I mean, or even you and I, like, we consider ourselves living our best life. Have we reached that point yet? Because me and you both, we talked earlier about how far we've come from through all kind of hell and high water, only by the grace of God alone, that we are here talking to each other today about what we get to talk about once a week.
It's only by the grace of God. Let me be clear about it.
So what do you think, bro? What do you think is, like, why is it so popular? You know what I'm saying? Not because it's more than just a song. You know what I mean? People took that song and used it as a catalyst to do a lot of things, both good and bad.
Yeah.
Some things they think is positive. Some things they think that is positive, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's just fake.
Most of the times it may be fake, but I think it's so popular, one, because the song was so catchy. The song propelled the theme or the saying, living my best life, into another atmosphere. Secondly, on top of that, you make a good point when you say people use it for good and bad, able to prepare their situation. I told my cousin, shout out to my cousin Lafayette, I told him this years ago, man, when he was progressing in his career and making a couple of dollars, and I went through this too myself. I said to him, man, you know, sometimes your happiness can cause other people pain.
Yes.
I said, you can be just talking about what you've accomplished, the things you've obtained, not even being braggadocious, but sometimes your success can cause others pain. So I say you have to kind of monitor what you show and what you tell people, and make sure you're telling the right person. So in terms of living my best life, for positive and negative, some of the negative aspects of that is the things that people accomplish can cause people disheart or pain.
Right.
And some of us, they just hating. But at the end of the day, if you can use that mantra to prepare you to a point of success or accomplishment, then I think you're using it in its proper context.
Right. And as part of the intro, I definitely want to talk a little bit about the fact that you can use this this metaphor, cliche, whatever you want to call it, the simile, whatever it is. I don't know. I'm not the grammar police.
But a simile is a good word, though.
Right.
I had to work on some of those with my son.
But
I had to Google it.
It can be a sidebar for ignorance.
Sure.
Right. Just taking that and deciding that I'm done where I'm at. I'm done with this season and the place I'm at in my life or whatever. I'm going to start living my best life.
Yeah.
You can start to do a lot of ignorant things financially, ignorant things in relationships, ignorant things with friendships, any kind of relationship with family, estrange yourself because you've decided that something's holding you back when it may not necessarily be true. It's just your perspective, and your perspective is very singular. It doesn't have a true perspective, because a true perspective is a perspective from all sides, all parties, everyone's story combined. And when you have that, you'll understand that everybody's always a little bit right and a little bit wrong. So if you just decide on your own without having a true assessment of what's actually happening, I'm going to start living my best life, you'll probably leave a lot of stuff behind that is a blessing in disguise. It's right in front of your face.
It's funny you say that, because I was kind of polling a couple people with that question, what does it mean to them? And most of the answers, and I'm not saying that they're wrong or right, is selfish answers. It was like, I'm not even being concerned about nobody else think. I don't care. I don't want your advice. I don't want your opinion. I'm going to do exactly what I want to do.
Right.
I'm going to live my best life. And in some instincts of your life, that's important. Choose to be happy no matter what anybody say.
Right.
For me particularly, I am in a place now where I feel I'm living my best life.
Right.
My best life is predicated, believe it or not, on my own feelings and the majority of the feelings or that I have towards my family. Like, my kids are well. I'm in a spot where I want to be career-wise. I'm in a pretty good place with my marriage. My daughter, my sons, all of them made the honor roll this year. My mom, my father are with me. They're healthy. Like, I'm not rich by any means, but my bills are paid and my daily bread is met. I have transportation. I have my health. This is truly, at this point in my life, my best life, but it's not the climax of it. I still want to evolve and still grow.
Absolutely.
But for me personally, it's not all about me. It's about the people around me who truly makes me who I am.
For sure. So let's roll on into our first question, and it's it's already kind of mixed into the title of the show.
Yes, sir.
Is what does it even really mean, right? And that brings me to something which is kind of a warning that I thought about when I, was thinking about the show and things that we want to speak about. It's a danger in over-assessing living your best life.
You mean the pursuit of that?
Right. Or over-assessing what it will do for you. Right, what you think it may do for you.
Okay.
Right, you take it upon yourself to make these changes, and some of them may be necessary. Right.
Yeah, and positive.
But if you over-assess it, you lose empathy, and if you lose empathy, you lose people, and if you lose people, at the end of the day, living your best life, at some point, what do you really even have anymore? Right. If you can't feel, if you can't be touched by other people, their issues, their problems, because of, like you said, your selfishness, the selfish answers, the selfish things you have to do to consider this your best life. You know what I'm saying? If you lose the empathy or being able to have the faith to forgive someone or stuff like that, because it'll interfere with your perspective on what your best life is.
Yeah.
You'll end up losing in the end. You know
well, sure.
That's
no,
like
I
a warning. Like, you can't over-assess living your best life.
You mean the pursuit of, you're so headstrong, I'm driven so much until I neglect the things that are pertinent and relative in my life to pursue what I perceive is going to give me happiness.
Absolutely.
When usually most people, if we're honest, attach happiness to materialistic gain.
Yeah.
Or even a place in their career, say, or I hear people say all the time, I want to be a millionaire, I want to be this and that or the third. I'm not chasing money. That's not me. Lynn Roberts Jr. does not chase money. I go and I need enough to maintain a comfortable living. But I'm not chasing a dollar amount, because when I chase something like that, I can, like you said, neglect the things or disregard or dismiss things that are truly relevant to me. And I'm going to tell you this point. In your pursuit of chasing your best life, if you have the mindset to disregard everybody else, you are in danger of getting or obtaining what you perceive will bring you happiness and still be in misery.
Right.
I've seen an interview with Jay-Z, and Jay-Z and the guy brought up, he said, but you're very wealthy. He was like, yeah, I am. He wasn't arrogant about it, but he's like, it's not what I want it to be.
Right.
It doesn't fulfill me. I was able to buy some stuff. I was able to do this, but it didn't bring me this happiness. J. Cole uttered the same words, and a whole bunch of successful
He's going through
people.
a big transformation, a big
Oh,
change.
I have seen it.
Right, and that drives it home. Like, you would have thought he was living his best life once he got recognized as an artist.
Yeah,
Once he got a record deal and started to put out records and gain notoriety based on his talent. And it slowly fell to pieces, and it changed. Like, he sold his cars, he sold jewelry, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. He even changed his approach to albums and stuff that he used to talk about. He doesn't talk about it anymore. Mm-hmm. Because he wasn't living his best life. Those things meant nothing. He achieved those things. Those things he felt like he wanted and he needed or whatever. It felt like it added to his stardom. And he realized that it was nothing, and it all goes back to like the saying: the best things in life are free.
Absolutely,
you can't purchase the things that will actually get you to living your best life.
No,
like to have someone to love you, whether it be your partner, your kids, to love you just because you want to. Selfishly, it's you. It's not anybody or anything. It's you. Mm-hmm. Right? You can't purchase it. Right? Sometimes you didn't do anything for it. You and I both have done some things or whatever that should have just destroyed it.
Absolutely should have destroyed it.
And still it maintained.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And it was nothing that we could do to pay enough to buy it back or to buy it in the beginning. It was just what it is. We were in the right place at the right time. We were ourselves, and we just it just added increase to our being. Right, and there was nothing of monetary value that we could do to replace it. We wouldn't be the same without it.
No,
right?
No, absolutely not. I mean, it's a change of mind, and I always talk about a mentality on every show because that's where it starts. It's like even people attach their best life and their purpose to a job, or particularly what we do in profession, to a certain rank. Mm-hmm. It's good to be proud of what you have accomplished on your job and in life and to celebrate it, but that does not define who I am.
Right.
If I was chasing that chase, I wouldn't have gave up an officer's position because I'm an officer. You understand? Right. Or I would pursue being a captain or a battalion. It's no doubt in my mind that I'm smart enough to do so.
You got to tell them what you're talking about, because some people don't know what happened or how you gave up the position.
Okay, I was a lieutenant at the city of Pompano. And I did that basically as a tool to get to the engine. Mm-hmm. I had been riding the rescue for about 12 years, and I was done with it. I was over.
Long time around the rescue, boy.
Long time. So I was trying to promote off it. That was my main objective.
Right.
I just couldn't do it. Now, with that being said, that was an opportunity for me to segue to a captain. But while doing that, I had also taken another promotional test. I took a test to be a driver engineer.
Right.
Which is, by rank, it's a lesser position. I'm not an officer, so it's a lesser position by rank.
Right.
I chose that because I associate my happiness, my self-awareness, not on a badge or a promotion. It's on what fulfills me and what's better for me.
Right.
And so that's what I meant when I spoke about that. And if you pursue your best life and neglect or disregard everybody else, you know who's not waiting or who's not on your time frame? Life and death. You could neglect and disregard and dismiss somebody who's very close to you for a goal, and they're not here anymore, and you're still not fulfilled.
Right.
It's all about balancing and making sure you're able to obtain those goals without neglecting what's truly important.
Right. I completely agree. And something else I thought about that I want to give to the people, and I do I'm a heavy thinker. Like, I think...
I know that, Jay. I've learned that about you.
In order to live your best life, to me, it's you have to learn from yesterday. Like, you have to learn from the things that you've been through, learn from the experiences you had, both good, bad, and then let it go. Because it's gone, and it'll never come back.
Tomorrow is forever.
Right.
Well, tomorrow is in the present, but yesterday is forever in the past. And those moments, that time, you can never get.
Right. It's a binding that, and it's a chain. It's a wrap that we're in regards to time that is a blessing, but can feel like a curse. It's a blessing that you cannot go back. Because if you could go back and change everything that you thought was wrong, you probably never go forward. You continue to go back to just in a cycle. I could have done this better. I'm gonna go back and change this. I'm gonna change this again. I'm gonna change that. Right. So you have to learn from that and then let it go. You know what I'm saying? Forgive your trespassers. Right.
Forgive those who trespassed before.
And you have to go forward. Right. You learn from them and you grow.
It's a difficult progression. So many people, and I even refer to it on the deeper and the spiritual level, that is a trick of the enemy that would try to keep you in the past and keep some of the things I did in the past. I don't remember or celebrate the things I've accomplished.
Right.
Like everything I've accomplished through school, my different certificate degrees, the things I've accomplished at my job. We used to give Attaboys awards back in the day, all those things. You don't see them at my house.
Right.
I don't put those things up. And I'm not saying it's wrong to do so, but for me, I remember more of the bad stuff I've done.
Right.
Now, I remember a friend who told me, he said, Lynn, you've done a lot of good things. You got to start remembering those more. Because I always remember what I've done negative, and I've learned that is a binding tool of your mind that the enemy tries to use to keep you defeated.
Yeah.
And so I had to learn, listen, that's yesterday I messed up. I thank you, Lord, for a brand new mercy, and I move forward.
Right. Right. It's kind of getting out of, as we start to, live your best life or whatever, you have to go through changes. There has to be pruning. There has to be different things that will be added to your life, cut. You will literally change and develop. And sometimes the time it takes could be the blink of an eye. So a person can change overnight, literally make a decision, have an epiphany, a revelation, change their mind about their life and not be the same person. I'll tell you right now, the truth is that there's things in my life that I've done that I'll never do it again. I'll never, ever do again. And what's so funny, and it's almost like it's heartwarming, because that remains true even if nobody believes it. It's still truth.
Sure.
Right? It's still truth. And what does it mean to really live your best life? It's also experiences, right? Doing things that you've never done, going places that you never go, meeting people that you never thought you'd meet or whatever, believing that you can accomplish things that you never accomplished, right? If you keep yourself in that realm, in that heart place, in that mode, and bring people along with you, like you'll always be living your best life, no matter what it looks like.
Yeah, because it's not based on materialistic things, man. I tell you, I went skiing. I went skiing because I heard all the white people going skiing. And, boy, let me tell you something, man. A bunch of black behind out there on them slopes.
Right.
They was looking at us like...
I've never been skiing, bro. Next month we got to go.
And the only thing that put that, I enjoyed it. Snowboarding is hard. Shout outs to my boy Vinny Horesso, who let me use his ski gear, and one Krebs who let me use some ski gear too. I appreciate that. But it's about doing different things, doing things you've never done before. This is the thing that you cannot take away, even if anybody can't see it.
Right.
It's your experience.
Right.
You can live your travel. Man, when we were coming up, it was a big deal to go to Orlando.
Yeah.
I've been on cruises. I've been to different countries. Me and my wife planning a trip out of the country soon. We've traveled. My parents, those memories can't be taken away. My kids have been to the White House. We did a tour of the White House. We've been to the Mint. Those memories cannot be taken away. Not only am I living my best life, I'm transcending some of those memories and those things transferring, to my children and the people who I love the most. But we was out there on them slopes, Che. I'm talking about looking ridiculous. I'm talking about falling down, don't know how to get off the ski lift, don't know how to get up, because we don't skip the class. I'm like, I got this. We can handle this. Man, I tell you what, boy, I can imagine the white people like, what are they, actors or athletes? What are they doing here? It's obvious they don't know what the hell they're doing. But I'm telling you, I wouldn't change that experience for the world. We had a whole bunch of fun, man.
Man, and you talked about D.C. and another thing, I try to take my daughter on a trip as often as I can, at least like once a year. I try. My son's a lot younger. He'll be a part of it as well. My daughter's 11 now. And this was before the late, great Dick Gregory passed. I saw him at a comedy show.
Dude, I like Dick Gregory. He did a lot of things, man. People need to research Dick Gregory if they don't know who he is.
For sure. And he was a gangster too. He didn't care about.
I know he was.
About nothing. He go after everybody. He going after you, boy. Isn't it?
I'm surprised he lived that long.
He going after you. He said in the midst of a comedy show, it was just before the National Museum of African American History and Culture opened.
That's a beautiful place.
Absolutely, it's remarkable. I didn't know it was that big. Most of it's underground.
It's a beautiful place.
It was unbelievable. And he said that every year you take your child to go see a rat in Orlando, but you won't take them to D.C. to see something that is an experience that they will never forget.
Yeah,
right?
and enrichment.
Yeah, and it enriched her mind. So the next trip we went on, I took her there and we saw everything. Right, and I'm sure it's an experience she'll never forget. My daughter's in the 5th grade right now, and next week she goes with those safety patrols to DC again. And so, she's excited, but she has a little arrogance about her, like my daddy already brought me.
Yeah, I've been there.
I did this already.
My son had to do the monument for a project.
Right.
We saw it last, and
Been there, done
he
that.
can look and say, "Yeah, I did this, but I've done this. I've been." Shouts out again to my sister, man. She be setting all that up for us, and my mom's. You know what I mean, for putting these trips together.
Right, absolutely.
So, man, living your best life is more about materialistic things to experience.
Yeah, let's jump into our next question. Is living your best life enriching others in some way, or is it just about us?
I pose that question because of the selfish nature that we inherently have. I had these conversations, and I'm of the mindset that we are inherently born selfish,
yes,
and that it's work for us. We have to be taught to share. That's why we have to come up with mantras and phrases. Sharing is caring. You'll see kids who we say are innocent. There's some bad kids who need to be spanked.
And nobody taught them that.
No, they just snatching, pushing their brothers down. That is an inherent selfishness that we're born with, that we have to be taught to be corrected.
Right.
And for me, I'm always shout out the word of God. The Bible says the heart of man is desperately wicked. Who can know it? So even with that statement, it lets me know, and if you're honest with yourself, you're a selfish person. And it rightfully so, I guess. But with that being said, living my best life, how can you living your best life, in some way, enrich somebody else? And I thought about certain things. You can accomplish the things you want to accomplish. By all means, set goals and accomplish, and then set new ones. But you don't have to be so arrogant and dogmatic and braggadocious or feeling like nobody knows more than you. You can't learn from somebody else. Yes. When you are the CEO of a company, you treat the janitor just like you treat the president of the company. Right. Treat everybody kind. So in enriching, progress to the goals that you've set, but bring people with you. Let me give you an example. If I have knowledge about how to become successful, I've given you the blueprint.
Right.
It's nothing for me to be successful on my own and just lend my success to my family and my friends. No, go back and teach somebody. Go back and grab somebody. Listen, let me mentor this young man from off the street who's never seen. I got a couple dollars. Let me give back. Yeah. That can change a person's life. Even me as a small fireman, I've gone to schools and I've done a lot of outreach in the city of Pompano. I'm not braggadocious about it because I love that place. And I've talked to so many kids, and kids I've forgotten. I was at the gas station one time on Copens and Dixie Highway, and this kid is looking at me, and I'm looking at him, and I'm saying, why is this boy looking at me? And then I'm looking at his mom. I'm like, that ain't possibly my kid, is it? I got a pass. I'm just saying, it wasn't my baby Shana. But anyhow,
so it wasn't.
Like Mike Jackson. So anyhow, man, he finally came up to me. He's like, you that firefighter guy I saw at school. Your name is Lynn. I'm like, yeah. Then I introduced myself to his mom or whatever. Yeah, that is how you can enrich one another. I wanted to be a fireman since I was 5 years old. By the grace of God, I was able to accomplish. I wasn't given a blueprint. I didn't know anybody in the profession. God made a way and set provisions for me. I give that same thing back. It's on a smaller level, but listen, man, you can do it too. You can be whatever it is you want to be, and those are ways you can enrich others with your knowledge, with your experience. And don't be like a crab trying to pull everybody down in the bucket. Bring people up. Now, some people you can't bring. Yeah. Some people ain't going to be wanting to go. They're going to say they want to go. They're going to talk like they want to go, but you got to cut them off.
They won't come.
Well, once you show them the work, they won't.
And what you described is what we consider lifting as you climb. Right?
Absolutely.
And a lot of people, even listening to us, when you listen to this episode of the show, you'll think that living your best life is going to be comfortable. And it's absolutely not going to be comfortable. No. In order to get to a place where you're living your best life, it's going to take a lot of pain. You have to get out of what you found comfortable. You're going to have to look like something you didn't like before. You're going to have to think the way you didn't think before. You're going to take chances and risk. You're going to have to do what you've always said just is not you. Yep. That's not me. I don't do things like that. Or I can't, I don't know. I don't like people.
No.
I can't enjoy people. You can't enjoy people because you're probably bitter and you're mad, you're upset about whatever, the world's against you and you're just under attack all the time, stuff like that.
And you could be on a medical, I agree with that, on a medical sense, you could have some kind of anxiety problem where you don't want to be like, I have to overcome that, and my son has. I don't like being around a bunch of people. Mm-hmm. And I don't like, even though I talk a lot, even with my ministry and things, even at work, I don't like going. If you truly know me, I'd rather not do it. Right. I'd rather be secluded and just
so I'm introverted.
Yeah, that's exactly, by the definition, that's me. However, I can't let that hiccup or that stumbling block dictate my process.
Right.
I have to move forward. Right. And I tell my son, listen, closed mouth don't get fed.
Nope.
Open your mouth, speak. It is just a hiccup. Somebody may be dealing with this who's listening to this. It's a hiccup that you can overcome. I've never been to counseling about it. I've never went to therapy about it, and nothing wrong with counseling or therapy. It is a decision of my mind to overcome said obstacle, to achieve said goal, right, which is for me.
Right. And when you get into that place of being uncomfortable, you'll know that you're starting to see increase in your life, and that's when you got to reach back or whatever and take somebody with you. The true people who will always fight for you and encourage you, and that's when you can discern who are true friends, who are not. Right.
Hard times
who can go with you and can. Right. When I came up with the idea for this show, my idea and what I wanted to do and what I had in mind, mm-hmm, right, and that's show you about God, just tell them what you had in mind, right?
Yeah.
Was to do it with my brother and my sister, right? And there was no way that this would have ever jumped off. They did not have the passion about it that I had. It was my baby. I wanted to do it. I thought of the concept, and I just wanted to bring them along. Mm-hmm. But it was the one day when you came, and I had tabled it for so long, and one day when you came to me and you had the same energy that I had about it, and I knew, I was like, that was it. Like, it was it. I had never seen the same kind of energy from them when I approached them with it. I had made the logos and everything. Someone was even it was done. It was done. We could have been doing this for a long time.
But you and now that connection, man, it ain't no coincidence.
It's no coincidence.
I knew I wanted to do it, and I thought about something you said. Speaks of your intelligence. I'm going to tell you this here. I knew I wanted to do it because I've been playing with it. I didn't know how to go about doing it.
Right.
I didn't know how to go about, because I'm very ignorant with computer and technology, but you must understand that's by design for me. Right. So there's a whole bunch of stuff on the internet that I get caught up in, and I don't want to live that life. That damn sure ain't my best life. So with that being said, man, I'm going to shout out to you. You said something to me a while ago, and it speaks of your intelligence. I'm going to shout out Chase for a moment. Chase is one of the smartest people I've met in my entire life. I've met multimillionaires, billionaires. I teach all around the country, and I'm not gassing them up. And it's very difficult for me to say somebody's smarter than me because of my pride. But I may have to give it to this man. And what speaks of his intelligence is, he said everybody would be doing a podcast if they knew how easy it was. And I'm thinking to myself, Joker, there ain't nothing about setting all this up. It's easy. It's equatable in your mind as being easy because you're so advanced, you don't even see it.
I appreciate that, bro.
You have to sometimes dumb yourself. I'm sure you can relate to this. I have to do it. You have to sometimes dumb yourself down so that people can understand what you're saying, because they're still playing checkers,
right,
and you chessing them up. And I just wanted to shout you out on that, man. He's a smart dude, and he's on another level, and I'm glad we linked up.
Yeah, I thank you for that, bro. I'm humbled by the statement. And
Real talk.
One thing that I have thought about, though, with the way I think, right, I know that I take a lot of stuff in, and I process it, and sometimes I'll say nothing because I don't know how to portray it to someone because I know they're not going to get it.
You can't dumb it down.
I can't. I just don't say anything. I'll sit there and I won't say nothing. Because when I'll listen to a perspective and I'll listen to like how popular it is and how stupid it is.
Oh, I've done that. I yelled at my son.
The stupidest thing I've ever heard.
I've yelled at my son, man, one time. Nike had a slogan, talented but lazy, and all these dumb kids went. I say, son, that's just, and people flaunting it. They buying the shirts. That's the 15, 20 for that. This is the stupidest thing I ever heard.
You gonna wear that?
There's a lot of them. You can try anything once. Are you retarded?
What?
There's some people who tried heroin one time,
and that's it.
And they lost their life.
That's it.
That's all it
I'll
takes.
try anything once.
It's
no.
a bunch of stupid. That ain't living your best life. Stop following these trends and all these dumb statements. Young kids speaking about, I'm a savage. Got savage on you. Let me tell you, this off the topic, but this is our show. We'll get back to the question.
Yeah. Hey, go ahead. Go,
Life and death is in the power of your tongue. And I expressed this to my kids once. I said, if you call yourself a savage, you give life to that word. The definition of a savage is an untamed animal or beast. There's two places for savages. Either shot and put down, he's out of control, you put him down,
right.
Or encaged. That's the only two options for a savage.
Right.
It's not something that you celebrate. So we got to stop listening to all this stupid, dumb slogans because it's trending,
right.
And putting this same energy or mantra over our lives and over our kids.
Yeah, it goes back to just the simple. You become what you talk about.
Yes.
You will become what you talk about, and whatever you talk about with your in group, with your in crowd. Man, when you like some of the stuff that we hear and we see in even with living your best life, and when you get out of your in crowd, like your nuclear little group that you've been so used to and so comfortable with,
homeboys, homegirls, and nucleus.
Yeah. Once you get out of that and start really like digging into the minds of some people that you never, kind of been around, and some things that you never done before or whatever, and some things they're into that you're not into, not necessarily negative ththings, but positive things.
Sure.
Like the whole skiing thing. When you get out of your in crowd, you will understand that you have been so just secluded to this a minuscule life. Like it's been so tiny. Right, I learned that when I went to Florida State, because like I really went to Florida State. Yeah. Like I went to Florida State in Jordans and I left in rainbow sandals.
Bro,
I'm like,
my biggest place was 14 years ago, walking into a fire department.
Yeah.
Foods I'd never heard of, places I'd never imagined. When I was, and that's nothing, stop speaking fear that you have on your old life over your kids and over your situation. When I grew up, they said if you go on a plane, you'll die. So I was afraid of flying in a plane. I had never done it until I became an adult. And people still suffer with anxiety over that. A lot of my family didn't know how to swim because when we were kids, they didn't swim, and that's another reason for that. But they was like, don't you go in that water, you're going to drown. I can't go. They put that energy and that fear, so I'm sheltered. I'm in this little box until I started seeing all these things. Listen, I'm going to tell you another thing, and I ain't racist by any means, but I know there's cultural difference. White people live their best life far more so than us as black people.
Yeah.
We're concerned about materialistic things. It's white people traveling all over the world, living their best life, and got 2 pair of shoes.
Right.
We got 100 pair of shoes, spent so much money on what could have been an adventure or vacation. We done met people who go hiking, who've been in the slopes, have been to Asia, been to Israel, been skiing, been scuba diving, swimming with sharks, jumping out of planes, and the list goes on. And we are closed-minded to it. Living your best life is also doing something new, like Chase said, getting out of that in crowd and that same mindset.
Right.
In order for you to experience something great, you have to do something exceptional and or out of your norm.
Right. I can't say enough about that. Like you have to do something different. Do something different. You want to live your best life? Do something different.
Sure.
Get out of this routine.
It's comfort zone.
This routine is going to kill you. You will do the same thing forever because you're comfortable in your routine.
That's why girls in relationships they so easily influenced by the next dude, because they be stuck in the routine. They've been in a relationship so long, it's mundane, it's boring. And I'm sure that happens with men too. You ain't dating no more. You ain't going out no more. You too concerned with your kids. Get out of your comfort zone, baby. Take your old lady out. Maybe she'll twerk or strip for you. I'm saying if it's your wife, it's all right.
Right? Oh yeah. Well, yeah. If it's your wife, yeah, you can do that legally. Can you? You can. Man, I can't wait. I'm not married, but I could be nasty legally.
Well, because it may as well, because I'm nasty anyway.
Right. I'm trusting you gonna have to match my nasty too, and I'm coming with a boatload
Well,
of that.
now wait a minute,
Listen.
Chase. Now, maybe
Listen,
I've
bro.
learned that sometimes people can't match your nasty. Because you done been so far off the spectrum. Now, not just Chase, I'm talking about me too. So you can't expect them to be, I thank God that my wife ain't as nasty as I am. Because, good God. But you
This ain't gonna work. This ain't gonna work, baby.
no, they can't match your nastiness, Chase. I'm telling you.
You married. You gotta try now. You can try it legally. Never mind.
Sure, you can.
This I don't know. We're gonna X that out.
That's part of your best life?
It sure is.
Shoot, I got a slogan. And I told this, Chase, I need shirts made, Corey Cleveland. My best life, I can sum up in the 3 V's. Vacation,
I know what the last one is.
vodka,
Can I say it with you?
and vagina. Those are my 3 V's. Somebody get me a logo up so I can get my shirt.
Hey, real quick. Hey, might want to trademark that quick.
Trademark 3 V's, baby.
We came with another one too, wasn't it?
We had a logo design.
The 3 B's. What?
Yeah.
I don't even remember what it was.
It'll come back.
We ain't gonna say it on the show because somebody gonna steal it.
Yeah, thieves.
All right, let's move on to our last and final question. We have
Yes,
too
sir.
much fun here. The
I love
3 B's, man. We got apparel coming out. Watch this. Are you living your best life here on Biscuits and Gravy? Talking about us, what we're doing.
I think, like I said before, man, I am in terms of the place I am, my mental space, my health, my children, my family. As far as I'm concerned, I am living my best life. I'm traveling. I'm managing money properly, and all the things we talked about. I'm mindful of my health, and more importantly, more gratifying for me is I think about my legacy. What people will say when I leave here, because it's not a question that I'm going to die. What they're going to say about Lynn, and there's going to be some negative things. Some he may talk a lot, but what I want them to say, because the mantra used to be about all the bad stuff I did.
Right.
I wanted to change that image, and I look back, have I helped somebody? Have I spoke to somebody and encouraged them? Have I encouraged more people than I put down? Have I given more than I tried to obtain? And I'm going to tell you the secret to gain is, believe it or not, is to give. If you want more, it makes no sense in an actor. You give more. So have I given more? Not only have I been a good father or a husband, and most importantly, what will God say to me?
Right.
I want him just simply to say, well done, you've been faithful over a few things, and son, come on, be with me now forever.
Right.
And I want my legacy to be not that he made the most money, not that he had the most degrees, not that he had the most cars, houses, or cash. Is he helped somebody, whether in person, whether by his word you said. I've done way more good than I've done bad. And I hope that we are doing that, because that was the emphasis of this show.
Right.
And that's the best life for me.
Right. And me, myself, and I'm working on a lot of things, doing a lot of things. I'm working more than I ever have. I got like 6 jobs.
You're a busy boy.
I'm, dipping and dabbling in property investing. I'm a new realtor in the area.
Tell me the name of the company, man.
Oh, it's Buckner Global. That's the brokerage I work with or whatever. Trust me, I got some stuff coming out that's gonna be kind of, piggybacking off of the show. So yeah, come get this work. I'll put you in your house. Or put you out your house. You want to sell it? We can buy it. We can do whatever.
And for the right price, we're looking for some property to buy.
Hey, holla at me. Send an email. The books I published, starting the podcast, branching out, you know what I'm saying? Because I just felt like clearly I was called for more than what I was doing. And that's my interpretation of me growing into God's favor. Like I'm growing, so I grew so much more than I have in the last 10 years over the last year. Last 10 months has been way more of an increase to me than the last 10 years of my whole life.
Thank you, Lord.
Right. I've stopped a lot of my analysis paralysis. I've had so many ideas.
When you wrote that down, man, see, that's some talk about intelligence. I understood exactly what you meant. So your analysis paralysis, go and dumb that down.
Yeah, I've
not saying nobody's dumb, just make it plain.
Just over years and over time, I've had so many different ideas to do different things, to start different things, and I can't even attribute it. It wasn't that I was lazy. It was just that I thought out too much on.
You thought yourself out of it.
Right, on how to do it. I thought myself into exhaustion on how to do it, what could go right, what could go wrong, what to prepare for, like what everything. You could. And then it starts like a cycle. It's like a loop, right? Okay, I've worked this out. I know what I'll do with this or whatever. Or then we go back to this or whatever. And when I went back to that, the thing that I just thought I found out, is something else wrong with that. So when I got to go back, I've thought myself in circles.
Just stifled.
And I cut it out, right? I was like, whatever, man. The audio on this podcast, it still ain't perfect. The first episode was terrible, but when the opportunity came, I went for it. Done it. I don't care what it sounds like. It's going. I'm putting it out.
We'll get better.
You know what I'm saying? And slowly but surely, it'll get better and better over time. You know what I'm saying? We come up with different stuff and different ideas every time we do the show. Every time we sit here and we do one of these shows, it's something else that we think about that we could reach out to somebody and I don't know. It's unbelievable, right? And I gained a whole lot of self-discipline. Self-discipline with managing my time, setting goals for myself, accomplishing goals. It's been seen spiritually, mentally, physically with my weight loss. Like the self-discipline is unbelievable. And through this period of revelation, the biggest thing is that a lot of the mistakes I made, I can't guarantee it, but I can guarantee that I'll be able to spot it and I'll be able to do something about it if my kids were to ever start to make some of the mistakes I made. Right? I can jump in. I'm sensitive to it. You know what I mean? Like some of the things that ailed me so much, I'm so sensitive to it that if not even just my children, it doesn't have to be my children. I'm just guaranteeing because they live under my roof, right? And as long as they're under my watchful eye, under my rules, we're gonna do things certain ways.
Sure.
So I know what I'm going to be able to give to them, right? But it doesn't matter if it's anybody listening to me and you know me, if it's your kid. Right? It don't matter. You know what I'm saying? And you know, it's real sensitive now with people and their children. It ain't like how it used to be, but it does still take a village, right? If anything I'm saying or anything that I can contribute to your child's life, I will treat your child like I treat mine. Period.
I do the same thing.
I don't believe in that. Like, no.
But be mindful. Yeah. I spank my kids, so I will spank yours too.
Uh-oh.
Or you can leave them home. That's going to be another show.
They're going to have to stay home. Yeah, we talked about that earlier. The blessing of that ass whooping I got. I mean, I don't know where I'd be without it. Like, people say what they want to say, like, but
I told somebody this, and I said they should put it on a bumper sticker.
Whooped.
Butt whooping saved lives.
Saved my life. Like, so many opportunities to do things that would have got me killed. Like, killed.
Save lives.
Like just like you. Like, we both spent our childhood in the wild hood.
Yeah, we did.
You know what I'm saying? It could have been anything. So am I living my best life? The honest answer would be not yet, which is good to understand that I'm not yet doing it, but I'm on the way. That is a twofold meaning to that. Not yet means I'm on the way to doing it, but I'm just not there yet. But I will get there. I'm gonna get there, die trying.
Yeah, man, I'm pretty sure you'll get there. You got the right mindset, and I understand your perspective. For me, Chase, I do think you are living your best life. And it's good you have that perspective because you want to keep working. And we're always going to be under construction. We're always going to be under construction as a person, as a man, as a father, as an employee, as a husband, as a wife, as a sister, as a brother. We're always going to be under construction. But if you're living and you progress more so than you did yesterday, and even if you can't obtain it physically, you can't touch it, it's not tangible, but if your mindset has changed, I'm proud of you. Somebody just got up and for the first day started their little diet or workout. I'm proud of you. Right. You living you on the right direction towards your best life.
Man, I want to support you. I want to hear about it. I want to post it. I want to post it on our social media.
And listen, shout out to social media. I just got on to the social media to promote some things. Holler at me on Facebook, LS Roberts, my Mind, Body, and Soul Institution. Chase gonna help me create a page for that.
Right, we're gonna talk about that when we get done on the show.
But if you are trying to do better than what you've done, change what you used to do, change the generational curses and whole generational curse. I'm sure people heard of it. There's no such thing. I last spoke Sunday or 2 Sundays ago about how God got rid of that when he died and rose again. But just to change your mindset, change things, change your perspective. Live your best life, but be your best in the process. And your best is not predicated on perception, from other people, nor is it predicated on materialistic things. Believe that.
Right. So, yeah, my final words is just own it and make it personal and take your loved ones with you. The ones that may not go, offer them a trip, offer them a ride. Like, you want to go with me? It's going to take work. It's going to take some pain. It's going to take some struggle, but we will be on our way if you decide to jump on this train. But I'm going no matter what. If I got to go by myself, I'm going.
I can tell you what, before we close, man, me moving to Port St. Lucie, man, I wanted to move. And shout out to my wife. I always want to shout out. I wanted to move to Port St. Lucie. I knew nobody up here.
Right.
I just wanted to go. I was over living down south. It's just too crowded for me. I grew up there. I love it. I just don't want to be there anymore for living. And my wife and nobody supported me in my decision. Even my wife was like, I don't want to go. And we sat for a year, and I'm like, I still want to go. And you compromise when you're in a marriage. But it gets to point to your life. And I had a conversation with my wife. I had enough, Chase.
Right.
My daughter finna go off to college. I ain't got to be here really no more.
Yeah.
I said, baby girl, I'm telling you, I'm moving to Port St. Lucie. Now, I would love for you to come. But God knows, whether you come or not, I'm out of here. I had made up my mind to go. It worked out for me. It may not work for everybody. And I thank God my wife, she flowed with me. And if you asked her this day, does she want to move back down south, she'll tell you, hell to the no.
Hell no. Shout out Shauna Roberts. When's Shauna coming on the show, man? Shauna always working.
Man, Shay, don't talk like that, Shay. Shay, don't talk. Shay, don't you be saying words like that, Shay. She ain't always working.
That was a setup. I did.
She don't work enough.
I did on
as far as I'm concerned.
Shauna ain't never here when I'm here, man.
She'll be here tomorrow.
She always be hollering at me when I ring the doorbell.
That's true.
I'm gonna ring it again. I might ring like 5 or 6 times before I leave.
She gonna be there looking at you.
Yeah. No,
She'll say something.
I'm gonna just hit it and walk off.
Oh, like a mic drop.
Just like a mic drop. Yeah.
And Mama, talk about my mama. I love you. I just thought about you. Strongest person, strongest female I ever met in my life. I love you, Ma.
All right. Thanks for all the support.
Deuces!
We got a lot coming up, too.
Oh, let's talk about it real quick.
Yeah. We actually got the Business and Gravy calendar so people can know what the show topics will be. If anybody's interested in possibly being on the show, have any advice, questions you want to add to the
topics
show,
you want us to talk about?
The calendar out there. Topics, yeah, give us everything. Like, we won't turn anybody down. Anything you're passionate about, we are with it. Till next time. Deuces.
We out.